Hi, I am continuing reading my memoir, His Story Through Me, The Aftermath. I'm going to pick up where I left off. You can't always tell when a heart is breaking. Sometimes it looks like laughter over dinner, while silently realizing you're alone in your marriage. I watched Love at the Table and realized mine was missing is the title. Dinner was easy. Laughter, stories, the clink of silverware against plates. My eyes drifted often to Mallory and Joe, seated across from us. They had that quiet magnetism, the kind that pulls two people into their own orbit. Their hands usually brushed, their eyes met with unspoken words, their laughter like people who weren't afraid of being known. I watched them, heart full. Mallory had grown into such a strong, beautiful woman, spirit-filled, intelligent, deeply kind. She deserved that kind of love, the kind that holds your hand in public without hesitation, the type that leans in when no one else notices, the kind that echoes Christ's love for his church. Love each other with genuine affection and take delight in honoring each other. Romans 12:2. That verse resonated deeply within me as I watched them. I was happy for Mallory, so very happy. The music played on and I thank God, not just for the evening, but for reminders that love still exists in the purest form. That joy, even after sorrow, can still find its way into our lives, even if it arrives slowly, even if it starts with a cough and a quiet dinner in the rain. When the band broke for intermission, Valerie and Sam slid into the booth beside us. The music faded, replaced by warm conversation and bursts of laughter. Jasper came alive in the center of it. Eyes bright, hands animated. He was a natural storyteller, drawing the group in like a fire draws cold hands. Even Valerie leaned in. Her earlier surprise softened into genuine interest. Jasper spoke of Florida, his vision, his projects, his hope for hosting them one day. "I'd love to have you down there," he said, nodding towards Valerie and Sam. "We'll show you a good time. There's room to create something big down there." He looked content, like he belonged in that moment. I caught myself watching him, this man who at times felt so far from me, now holding court with ease. Later, walking back to the car in the light rain, Jasper smiled. "That was nice," he said. "I liked everyone. Your friends are good people." I nodded, holding on to his words like a fragile gift. This may be the beginning of something more substantial, something genuine. But the feeling didn't last. A few days later, after Thanksgiving, Jasper told me he was flying back to Florida. He didn't ask, he announced. I blinked at him from across the room. "You're still sick," I said. "Why not stay and rest and I can take care of you?" He shrugged like it wasn't up for discussion. "I already booked the flight." No mention of me, no we, no us, just plans that didn't include his wife. I drove him to the airport the next morning. The silence between us felt louder than the traffic. My fingers gripped the steering wheel, heart full of words I didn't know how to say. At the terminal, he hesitated before getting out. "I'm not going to hug or kiss you," he said, still not feeling great. I nodded, lips pressed into a line, and watched him disappear into the crowd. On the way home, the tears came in waves. By instinct, not intention, I found myself driving to the cemetery. I pulled into the gravel path and parked near my mother's grave. The sky was gray, the air was damp, and the earth was quiet. I knelt beside the stone, tracing the letters of her name with my fingertips. "I don't know what to do," I whispered. "I stood before God and promised to love this man, but I don't even know who he is." The wind picked up and I wrapped my coat tighter. "I don't think he wants me," I said, the truth cutting sharp as I spoke it. Maybe he's just using his sickness as a reason to stay distant. My words ran dry, but the ache didn't. Then, without planning to, my heart turned to something more profound, older. I guess I felt this before, I said to the stone. With you. My voice cracked. After I told you what Leroy did, it was like you never looked at me the same again. Never asked if I was okay. A sob caught in my chest. You loved him more than you protected me. You blamed me for breaking the picture you wanted to keep whole. But Barbara, I didn't break it. He did. My body curled in on itself, and I let the grief come. Grief for Jasper, grief for the brokenness in my marriage, for James being gone, but also for the child still inside me, who never been comforted. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted. He rescues those whose spirits are crushed. Psalms 34 and 18. I stayed there a long while. The silence felt sacred, like maybe heaven was bending close to listen. Healing starts right there, in the place we think no one else sees. I used to make excuses for her, for the way she looked at me with coldness behind her eyes, for the sharp edge in her voice when I asked her something simple, for how she could be so warm to others but rarely to me. But something shifted the day I saw her do it to my children. She would light up when some of them walked into the room, smile, laughter, open arms. Then when another child entered, calm, silent, dismissive eyes, her affection didn't stretch evenly, and it tore something in me. That was the moment I stopped pretending. I had spent years working to treat my children with fairness. If I didn't have enough for everyone, no one received. I couldn't bear the thought of one child feeling left out, feeling less. I knew what that felt like, and I wouldn't repeat the pattern. It hit me. What she was doing wasn't just difficult. It was abuse, emotional abuse, quiet, constant, and calculated. I had been absorbing it for most of my life, and yet I kept coming back. Honor your father and mother, Exodus 20 and 12. That verse echoed in my mind again and again. I wasn't trying to earn my mother's love anymore. I was trying to remain obedient to God, even when it hurt, even when it left me empty. I believed God saw it all. I hoped that He counted it as righteousness, even as I wilted beneath her words. Let me pray. Your word says to honor your mother and father, and that can be found in Exodus 12. And every time I honored my mother and father, I face hurt, rejection, and pain. And yet I honored anyway, because that is what your word told me to do. And even now, God, I still struggle with that. Honor thy mother and thy father, so that days may be longer on earth, is what you said in your word. And I pray, dear God, that those under the sound of my voice who are doing just that, who are honoring parents that aren't worthy of honor at all, but because you said honor them, we honor them anyway. Lord, I pray you will bless those who are seeking healing. You'll bless those who are hurting. You'll bless those who are seeking you for their healing. Help us, dear God. Help us heal. Lord, for those who do not know you and the pardon of their sin, I pray, dear God, that somebody will stop by. That something, some kind of encounter will happen today, oh God, where they will see you. Where the scales will fall off their eyes, oh God, and they will see you. And God, in seeing you, they will accept you as Lord and Savior over their life, oh God, because they will believe in their heart and they will confess with their mouth that you are Lord. Thank you, dear God, for all that you do. It's in Jesus' precious name I do pray. To God be the glory. I dare you to trust God.